wherever you're joining us, whether it be Australia, New Zealand, or international waters, I should say. Don't know why I would say that, but I did. Welcome along to the 2025 RaceOnOz BJH Race of Champions. This is our 2025 edition, nice and early in only April this year. I am joined by none other than previous Race of Champions winner, Daniel Hatfield. How are you going tonight?
I am doing very well. Very excited to be here. Can't wait to see what these guys can do and see who we can add to our list of winners for the Race of Champions, as someone would say who couldn't speak properly. I'm still looking to try and find our stream online to test the audio, but it's not showing up.
It's okay. I may have found it early, so I'll do a quick audio test behind closed doors. And we're loud and dandy, so yeah, it looks like we've got all the fiddly bits underway. I love getting my fiddly bits underway. Yeah.
PG-13. Hello.
PG-13. We've stuffed that one already, haven't we? Tokyo, Hatfield. This is a bit new for Race of Champions, don't you think?
Well, it's not often we get a street circuit. Of course, it's voted between the drivers from the racetracks that were raced this season with this car, what they would like. It was sort of a dead heat between three different tracks, and in the end Tokyo prevailed, so going to be real tight and twisty here. Nice big long straight, good slipstream. Should see a few cars walled, but hopefully not too many.
I think the interesting part for me is that big long straight. You said it. It's going to be a lot about teamwork and something we don't often see in the Race of Champions. I mean, there's no teams here. It's just personal glory. Everyone is fighting to be number one at the end of that 15th lap. How do you decide what you're going to do when you got the Div 1 guys flying at you and you've got all these guys from your division racing around you? Do you work together? Do you do the bump draft? Do you do a bit of teamwork for the first 14 laps? What's going to go on, do you think?
Well, for those who haven't watched one of these before, of course, everybody starts staggered. So it's not that everyone goes when the light goes green. We have up to 40 seconds to wait for the final driver, for Distinct Andrew, to be able to put his foot to the floor. So some of these drivers, even though you might want to work together to avoid losing time, there isn't anyone there to work with. So you've got to catch them first. I think by the time that you've caught someone, it may actually be faster for you just to pass them if you're that quick. But for those up the front that are a bit closer together, it might make sense to do that bump draft down the main straight and try and extend that gap to ensure that you actually have a chance of winning.
I think that's pretty well put. A little bit more difficult for these Div 1 guys. You touched on it. Distinct Andrew is going to be the final car on our grid. And this man I've currently got on screen, Cy Bishop, the ex-Manufacturers Series World Champion for GT Sport, is joining us tonight. He'll be starting second last. Of course, won his title well back, I think it was nearly 2 years ago now, in the Subaru BRZ GT300. It was a fantastic season by the New Zealander. And these guys are pretty much alone. Simon has a 20-second wait from the next car ahead of him until he can go, and then a further 5 seconds behind him we get Andrew join the field for the chase. So it's going to be a bit of lonely times for the Div 1 guys as they try to chase the pack in this Tokyo midnight setting.
Well, after a season in Division 1, they might enjoy a bit of clean air.
I think, yeah, they might not be complaining about that too much. And without further ado, Hatfield, I think I'm going to say that I've gotten most of our social media sharing underway, which means I'm going to be able to kick this off for a reset and give Tolly the track entirely to himself for the memorial lap. How does that sound?
That sounds like what we need to do every single time. Let's keep the tradition going. Of course, that memorial lap is in honour of Bruce Hale, who this event is named after. So it'll be in his championship winning cars. Which one is Tolly driving for us this evening?
BRZ tonight, which funnily enough, I think the BRZ may have been the only car that we've seen in these memorial laps so far. Not complaining, that was the first car, I believe, that he won his championships in.
That's correct. That was a first season of Gran Turismo 6 back in the day. A little bit in the chat there.
Yeah, I should have been able to sort that. We wait for Tolly now to find the keys to that Subaru. And there we go, that green. Oh god, that brings back some memories, doesn't it?
It sure does. Good to see the BRZ in its glory.
And I guess now we have a little bit of a chat about why this event is so special to us. And I will say first of all, massive thank you to. I know he's still kicking around, and I know that he still likes to be involved where he can. But Tim Williams, TB Williams, of course, who is no longer involved in our Gran Turismo stuff. I believe he still has a say in a few not Gran Turismo, RaceOnOz matters, kind of here or there. Maybe iRacing. But yeah, he kicked off this race of champions and kind of made it Bruce's. And Bruce, of course, predates either myself or Daniel, but one of the most hard-working Kiwis and oh my gosh, so much self-determination from what I've heard. Yeah, just a quiet achiever and someone that was always happy to have a drink midweek, and it's something that RaceOnOz really stands for, and so we dedicate this event to him, of all the champions, someone who won 2 championships in, I think it was Div 3 and Div 5 at the time, but it just really highlights our community and why they're the core of what we do, and not the aliens. It's always going to be about the community.
Yeah, you always have different sets of aliens, but it's those core guys in the middle divisions that are here every season, week in, week out, just jumping on to have fun with mates. Do a few laps, have a few brews or waters if it takes your fancy, and just do some online sim racing. Much cheaper than driving real race cars.
We really do just get back to the core of it with this, and of course, just seeing this BRZ on track, not being blessed to have shared any company with Bruce, it still does bring a little bit of emotion to me. I've got a lot of people who I still race with online who did share the track with Bruce and shared a couple brews and had some good times back in the day. God, so long ago now. We're getting towards, I think, nearly 15 years, I suppose, or is it 10 years?
Well, whenever Gran Turismo 6 was out.
Yeah, exactly. Far out. As Tolly pulls up now to the line, and this will kick off a minute's silence once he stops this car in its rightful place. I've told him he can go to P1 or the checkered flag, and I think he's going to pull it straight into P1 for a minute's silence. And that brings to a close our minute. Rest in peace, Brucey. And I hope from wherever you're watching, mate, you are enjoying what RaceOnOz is now, and laughing with a brew in your hand as you would enjoy.
If he was here, he'd probably win it.
Probably too drunk to win it. Probably busy cracking jokes in the party chat. Awesome. Awesome. I love that part of it. It's the best part of the night, to be honest. And now we get to the exciting part of the night. What a lineup. Unfortunately, we've got somebody who's just decided to join. Hello, my friend. I'm not going to let you keep in. Goodbye. Alright. I'll just make sure that everybody can now get on track. Tolly is free to jump off. Alright, so I've just set for 4 minutes free practice, so we should have a little bit of time just for Tolly to hop over into the AMG, do a quick grid check, which I believe is alright, and go through those proceedings. Who's your pick for the win tonight, Hatfield? Have you had a look at the handicaps we've got?
I've had a brief look at them. Let me bring them up so I can run through the viewers what we've got. So you've got Dash Vanguard from green on provisional pole, I suppose you'd call it, followed by Brits 5 seconds later. And then it's pretty close there. You've got a second later Beats, a second later Doodah, a second later Tolly. Then there's a bit more of a gap, 4 seconds to Arby, but he's got Snorksel 2 seconds behind him and another second for Banana Cake Pie. And that, of course, so there'll be two sort of groups, I reckon, there. And then you've got those Div 1 guys. You've got Psydog further 20 seconds back, and then 5 seconds to Distinct Andrew. The last two races have been, right to the line, very exciting finishes with Andrew both times, wasn't it?
Andrew and Jeesh, actually, so separate Div 1 lads.
Different Distinct boys. Okay, so quick Div 1 drivers chasing down someone from one of the lower divisions, and so I'm hoping we get another photo finish, but we'd be pretty spoiled if we do. But with the big straight, I think my money's got to go on Distinct Andrew to get it done, and that'd be his first as well, wouldn't it?
Would be, yeah. He's never been able to do it. I think this would be his third or fourth race of champions. He's never quite grabbed it. Of course, that famous photo finish in the McLaren 650S GT3 between himself and Steve Goof, who was our outgoing reigning champion after Tolly won it last season in another photo finish with Jeesh. So yeah, our two closest finished in history, and they came back to back. God, we were spoiled, weren't we?
Well, very spoiled. I think that, like you said, he's been in a few of them now, and he hasn't been able to get that top step. I think he'd like to join the other Div 1 drivers that have had a win here, such as Keaton and Mint, taking the top step. And I think he'd enjoy to try and get that, considering he's probably the best driver we've seen in this game at RaceOnOz.
I think it's a point that a couple of people have been talking about. I've had these conversations actually with Nick Dalton, who was part of the glory days of GT6, fighting with, of course, Mint Matt, Dan Holland, all those guys back in the day. And Nick was pretty comfortable in saying that Andrew's probably the quickest driver we have ever had in the ranks at RaceOnOz. Of course, we've had some absolute firecrackers. Of course, Dan Holland with a lot of world records. We don't talk about the other escapades that Holland's been up to. Warrior, of course, was just the ever dominant presence in GT6, and that was really his game. And then Keaton took over in GT Sport, and of course Andrew now the late half of GT Sport and into GT7. He has got a stranglehold on RaceOnOz Div 1, and I think we'll like to see if he can get a stranglehold on tonight's Race of Champions. I think it's time to kick it off. And best of luck to everybody racing tonight. This is going to be a cracker of an event.
Let's go.
Let's go indeed.
I've seen countdown.
This has happened again where I'm not sure I can spectate during the race start. Luckily, I'm only going to be missing one car. Oh no, here we go. We're all good. Here we go, on the grid. And we are on the grid for the 2025 Bruce Hale Race of Champions. Dash Vanguard, of course, in the Bruce Hale Racing Team car, leading us off from pole. How fitting is that? Dash will go on the green here. Of course, just a 3-2-1 start for the Race of Champions. Nice and simple. Nothing to mess up for the man. And he leads us off now. Brits is going to cover him with a 5-second head start there. Brits will chase. Beats right behind him. Doodah behind him. And Tolly right behind him. We've then got a short 2-second gap to Jelly Mechanic, who now sets off. Snorksel, a very short wait behind him. And Banana Cake Pie. We've already got 8 cars in this race. And we're 20 seconds in. And we've got this eternal wait until we get the 2 Div 1 boys into it.
Yep, well, they're all going to head up to turn 1 now. Good opportunity to slipstream, especially if there's only a second gap there for some of those guys. As Psydog gets away, Distinct Andrew will be going shortly. 2, 1, 0, and away he goes. The whole field roaring into action.
Yeah, it's very good. You can see those gaps in the track map up on the top right. So a massive, massive air gap that these guys have to clear. But of course, this is how it's set. There is a massive gap for a reason. And Tokyo being such an outlier, these guys can work together to try and eclipse the time. Look at the gap already between second and third. Beats has eaten up that second gap, and he is going to be all over Brits already as we each intersected two.
Well, it's probably pretty difficult to get the pass done in the twisty section. Unless you've got a decent pace advantage. So it's all about getting as close as you possibly can, despite any dirty air, to get that move done on the straight.
Yeah, dirty air is going to be a big talking point for these guys. Of course, this cluster of four, Brits, Beats, Dudar and Tolly all together, and that little bit of a gap for Jelly Mechanic, so he's got this space now to not worry about dirty air, put the foot down and try to eclipse this 3.5 seconds that he's currently got to Tolly. And of course, Snorksel right behind him, who we shared the track with a couple seasons ago, and he also made a slight appearance in Div 1 for the Nürburgring final round as well. So Jelly used to driving with the guys around him currently, and hopefully he's got a little bit of faith when he goes side by side with them later in the race.
Well, the guys have headed onto the main straight now. Looks like Beats might just be out of the slipstream range, but he's gaining ever so slightly. Tolly definitely in the slipstream of Dudar.
Yeah, this is already starting to get interesting because, of course, only onto our second lap now. Andrew and Simon, you can just see heading onto the main straight now. So all cars on the main straight now. But who works together? Who's going to do what here? 6/10 between Brits and Beats. So these guys have to be careful.
Tolly on Dudar.
There we go. Tolly looking. Go on.
He's taken it down the inside. He's made the position. But he's run wide and Dudar over and under. Oh, Tolly touches the wall.
Might have been contact there between Dudar and Tolly, but they both move on.
I think there Tolly just broke a little bit too late. Failed to pick up the apex there. So, but he's still with him. So he'll need to try again next lap. Unless he can find a way past through the turns.
Yeah, it'll be very difficult to get a move done here. You see Tolly looking left and right. I think he feels he's being held up a little bit by Dudar here. And of course, that is the idea. Every car ahead of you should be passable. And Tolly is going to be
that dirty
all over
helping him touch the wall.
As we go on board now with the reigning champion, the one who holds the crown. And of course, just led us for our memorial lap. And he's got a face full of AMG right now, Dudar, who's actually, it looks like he may have closed in. Did he hit the inside wall there? I think Dudar might have made contact, and now Tolly's got the run.
He's definitely made an error. I don't know if this works in Tolly's favour, though, considering Dudar can just slipstream him down the straight. So, wait and see.
Makes the pass, though, and Dudar trying to fight back side by side now through the final corner. And you're right, this isn't going to work for lap time whatsoever. It's nearly 2 seconds to Beats ahead now. And these guys have got to figure out over the next 13 laps whether they're going to be working together to try and get to Dash, or whether they are going to be fighting and going down that route. It's a very, very interesting card to play. Dudar now looking, is he going to go for the overtake? He is, Hatfield. So overtaking now over the line.
Yep, there's not going to be any working together here. They're fighting tooth and nail for every position. However, there was, about 8 seconds between them and the leader off green, and they're under that, so they haven't lost much time to the leader in these first few laps.
Indeed, you're right. So something's working there. Dudar goes defensive. Tolly around the outside. He's not going to make the same mistake as that. Dudar going deep there, and Tolly trying for the over-under. Is he going to get down the inside? No, not quite. So the Patronus AMG just pulls in and will hold station for another lap.
Yeah, he's definitely losing time now. He needs to be getting past Dudar and making those gains to catch Dash. Otherwise, he's going to find himself swallowed up by the faster drivers behind as they work towards it. I can see the gap from Distinct Andrew is down to 36 seconds after 40 seconds off the start. So already making inroads. That's over a second a lap. But it's going to need to be more than that, I feel.
Will be. I think it's somewhere in the region of 2.5, just less than 2.5 seconds a lap for Andrew, as we're just checking out Dash Vanguard at the moment with a 4.7 second lead over Brits. So Brits has taken a little bit of his margin out because, of course, that gap does go up considering the long straight after the starting line. but not much. So Dash is holding very, very steady at the moment. Brits with 1.4 over Beats, who of course we did see was all over Brits as he slides it out of the final corner there. And Brits is not holding anything back there. He did actually lose a second on this lap, so maybe there was a bit of a mistake there.
Yeah, that little twitch there coming out of the final turn has hurt him. Beats is definitely gaining. He's in within a second now.
Yeah, Beats, I think, trying to make up for lost time. I guess Brits would have really opened up that gap then, probably would have been a fair amount ahead of Beats and really encroaching on Dash Vanguard's lead. Brits will be pretty unhappy with his mistakes there as we take a quick look back to Dudar, who now has a 1.6 second gap to Tolly.
So Tolly's definitely had something go wrong there. Dudar's lap was a 2-minute .2 and Tolly's was a 1.8, so something's gone wrong.
Definitely. Okay, so yeah, these guys, they've just got to get their head in the game a little bit here. It's not so much about how you pass cars, it's about keeping it consistent when you do. So if there's any overtakes going to be happening shortly, as Tolly there just brushing the wall there, exit of turn 2. They've just got to be so careful to keep it clean and keep it consistent while they get these overtakes done.
Well, the next set of overtakes probably coming from behind Tolly. I can see Arby's within slipstream range of Tolly, and then Snorksel and Banana Cake also in slipstream range, so we might end up with a little bit of a train coming up on the main straight at the end of this lap.
And this is what I'm wondering about. It's at this stage where Banana Cake Pie, Snorksel and
Snorksel
Jelly...
touched the wall.
Nothing you can do there for Banana. They're all just going to end up getting a bit of a... what's the term? They're going to get a little bit bottlenecked? Bottleneck, that's the one. They're going to get bottlenecked here, and whether they work together, or whether they try and just fight tooth and nail like we saw Dudar and Tolly do. They've got 17 seconds behind to Cy Bishop now, so that gap has come down 3 seconds over the last 4 laps. Not enough.
Well, we can see these guys all just sort of running 1:59 2-minute laps, and we've got Distinct Andrew running 58s. So I'm just not sure I don't know if the pace is there from the Div 1 guys to be able to catch them, but if they fight, that's another story.
Now, quite typically, of course, this race is heavily weighted towards the lower Div drivers. The handicaps are built so that there is time for the Div 1 guys to come through and pass cars, but often it's just very, very difficult to predict what they're going to see as they come through the field. Of course, only a 10-car grid tonight, but you never know what's going to happen or what time you might lose as you come through.
The other thing, of course, being consistency. The reason these Div 1 drivers are so good is they can be so fast all the time, every lap after lap. Whereas in the lower divisions, you will find more mistakes creep in occasionally. And so that consistency is going to be key if they want to win this race.
Too true, and it's just such a funny thing that we've never really seen Div 1 drivers consistently win this. It's normally been the community guys. Of course, the last 2 photo finishes have been Div 3 or below champions who have come through to steal a win off a Div 1 champion.
I don't know if they've stolen the win. I think the Div 1 driver coming from behind is the one trying to steal that win, but they've sort of held out.
Very true, very true. Very valiant defensive efforts from both those guys too. Remember Steve and Tolly, neither of them cracking, which is not easy when you've got some of the quickest Div 1 drivers, or quickest Australian drivers, in fact, coming at you at a rate of knots.
Yeah, absolutely. Just stellar drives from both those guys. I wonder if they can pull it off. I wonder if Tolly can pull it off tonight.
It'd be interesting, wouldn't it? I think it's been a long time since we've had a back-to-back champion, as we see BCP, Banana Cake Pie here, looking for a move on Snorksel, coming into the final 2 corners, and just pulls out of it, although Snorksel runs a little deeper than I'm sure he wanted to, and allows BCP to get alongside. Is there going to be contact? They're so close here, and I think there might have been some contact, but they work it out in the end, and Banana Cake Pie moves up into position 7 with Snorksel right behind him now. And what is Snorksel going to do here? Is he going to fight back? Is he going to go for the bump draft?
Similarly, just in front of them, we've got Jelly and Tolly side by side. They had their own little over-under at the final turn, just ahead of these guys. So a few battles happening now. They're still side by side. They're going to be the whole length of the straight.
And this is not what Tolly wants to see either. He's lost a lot of ground to Dudar, even though... Actually, what was his last lap times? I'll just check. Missed it entirely.
While you're checking that, I can see Snorksel working with BCP, giving him little bump draft taps to catch the guys ahead.
Ooh, BCP actually was carrying a lot more pace than I'm sure he expected into turn 1 as he just brushes the wall as Jelly Mechanic did there on the exit of turn 2. What I was going to say there actually is these Div 1B boys working together is going to be the reason why they're probably my favourites to take this out tonight, whether it be Snorks or whether it be Banana Cake Pie. These guys are going to be very, very difficult to beat when they're pulling so far ahead.
Oh, Tolly and Jelly, big
Oh,
contact
oh!
there. That's put Tolly in the wall, but I don't know if that was anyone's fault. There was just cars alongside and it's very narrow.
Oh, there was some flashing of the lights by Tolly. I'm not sure he's happy about how that one went, and a massive amount of damage on the front of his AMG as he drops now 7/10 behind Snorkel. That could be the night done for Tolly. I'm not sure he'll make up that gap from there.
No, I think with him falling off from Doodah and getting caught by these guys already, I think he really didn't have a hope by that point. This has just cemented it.
Indeed, and hello.
Away from that battle.
Look at this battle for 9th already, Hatfield.
Yes, Distinct Andrew has caught Psydog. He touched the wall there. I wonder if they'll work together. This will be interesting.
Very interesting. This will be the deciding factor of whether these guys actually get to... Actually, that was Psydog letting him go.
Well, maybe he'll just try and stay with him in the draft.
I think that's probably a good idea. I did actually speak to Cy Bishop before this race. He did speak about wondering whether Andrew would work with him or not. Simon actually lost a lot in those last 2 corners, so that's probably not gone the way he wanted to.
Range, I think he's less than
no, he's definitely still in it.
Done his race.
But yeah, that's not ideal for him. Interesting strategy here. We're going to see if it works out a little bit later on. We'll go back to the front as Dash has still got that 4-7, and Beats has taken second.
Has just made an overtake. And Arby's lost out to... Sorry, Jelly has lost out to Snorksel as well. So he's dropped 2 positions.
Yeah, so these 1B and 2 guys are getting a little bit feisty here back in the pack. And sorry, I did actually have Matthias ask me how the gap to the lead was from, I guess it'd be Simon now. So it's 30 seconds to the lead. Nowhere near what they need to be making.
Well, Dash is just sort of maintaining that. It's a 4.9 second gap from him to beat at this point.
And you know what I've just seen actually, Hatfield? Last lap for Simon Bishop was a 2:04 4.
Yeah, that's no good. There's a reason that Andrew caught him.
Yeah, that's a huge chunk of time to be lost. He is purple now in that first sector, just following in the tyre tracks of Andrew Lee. And I'm sure Andrew's going very quickly indeed. The 58.5 fastest lap of the race that he has set on lap 5. I'm sure that's probably a fair distance quicker than anything the guys ahead have done.
Yeah, he's still purple on this lap as well, so he's only getting quicker.
And Dash is still holding that lead, so 5 seconds exactly to Beats. So this time that Beats has been able to find to grab Brits, yeah, he's not been able to find any inroads now on Dash Vanguard.
Snorksel is working with BCP, giving him bump draft on the straight to catch Doodah. They are now within slipstream range. They're about, they're about 10 k's faster on the straight, heading over the line.
This is the wild card, ladies and gentlemen. These cars working together. Look at them. Oh my god, that is such a closing rate on Doodah. They're going to fly by him.
Yeah, 15 kilometers an hour faster if you work with someone along the straight at that point.
I will tell you right now, I think Snorksel and BCP have this one figured out. That was probably the easiest overtake you will ever see in Race of Champions. That closing rate was ridiculous.
Oh, but Doodah's just stuck the nose in on Snorksel.
He wants to fight it, but I'm not sure there's going to be much fighting it. Jelly Mechanic now all over Doodah, and I think it's a matter of when and not if.
Dangerous area to be in here. Oh, he's trying to close the door.
I think he thinks better of it, so B2 pulls in here, and he's going to let Doodah fight for another day. He's just got to make sure that these other 2 guys don't disappear off ahead, because I think Jelly was still benefiting from the slipstream of Snorksel and BCP, and he doesn't want to lose that.
Definitely getting held up through this part of the track. You can just see the lines that Jelly's able to get closer to the edge of the track more often than Doodah is.
And he's just opened up his second set of that chicane there, so he's going to go for the run now into the bottom half of the circuit. And there might be a move here. Snorksel hasn't actually pulled that far ahead. He's actually dropped a little bit off BCP.
He might have touched the wall somewhere.
So
BCP
easy
now
to do.
right with third and second.
And this is where it gets interesting. I keep saying that, but there's just so many interesting portions of this race where things can happen, things go wrong. BCP right in the slipstream now of Beats and Brits. And BCP's best time of 59.2, which was toe helped or toe assisted, is a second quicker than what Brits has managed, and more than half a second quicker than what Beats has managed. And over a second quicker than what Dash Vanguard has managed. So if BCB gets some help here, he can actually be the one to chase down Dash.
That slipstream's just so helpful. We've got a new fastest lap in Psydog's last lap was a 58.1, which is 0.3 faster than Andrew's quickest lap, as Andrew just does a 58.2 on his own. So they're pretty damn quick.
It's rapid pace from the Div 1 guys, and rapid pace from the current Div 1B champion as he moves himself into position 2. Banana Cake Pie, 2 for 1, and he is straight into P2 now, but without the help of Snorksel.
Yes, well now we see in the last, what are we, this and 5, so six laps. Just under 6 laps to go, and he's got a 5-second gap to make up. Can he do it?
Oh, Beats there. I think hit the wall in the background. May have been a massive slap of the wall for Beats. It wasn't quite enough for Snorksel to get on top of him, but he did lose a fair margin to Brits there. And this is becoming a bit of a tight battle pack here between all these guys. Any mistakes from the front half of this pack means the back half loses bulk time.
Yes, well, yeah, definitely Snorksel catching up to Beats now. Dude, hanging on. Jelly still all over him. Jelly looking now into the final turn, perhaps.
Checking in with our Div 1 guys at the back just quickly as well. That gap is down to 23 seconds from Cy Bishop to the lead, so that is just falling cataclysmically.
Duda's spun. He had a half lose with Jelly on the inside, and he's touched the wall. And that's his race.
Tolly was actually the one to go around there, so Tolly's facing the wall as the Div 1 guys come through. And he does actually quite graciously back out of the way. So Tolly in the background, I just seen a car facing the wrong way. And the reigning champion, unfortunately, is going to end his night in P10.
Oh, top 10 finish. That's positive.
Absolutely. That's a massive shame for these guys, of course. Only 11 seconds now between Doodah and Andrew Lee. And that closing rate is getting ridiculous. Last time by a 58.2 for Andrew and a 58 flat for Simon. And I have no doubt this is the way that it needs to be done. These guys are working together at the best of their abilities right now and flying.
Well, a 58 flat is, 2 seconds quicker than the leader? So there's only 5 laps to go, so I don't think it's going to be enough. That's only half of the gap that they've got to the lead, so I think we're going to have to discount the Div 1 guys from being able to win this race unless there's mass issues at the front of the field.
I may have been a little cruel when I set that Div 1 handicap up.
Well, Brits has had an issue. He's just lost a couple of positions like he was standing still, so he must have hit the wall pretty hard.
Yeah,
he's
massive
got front end damage as well.
Massive front end damage for Brit, so that'll be him back as well. And Jelly Mechanic, this will probably be an easy position for him as they head back down into the hairpin after this chicane. So they're dropping like flies now, and we're approaching the 20-minute mark in this race. So fatigue is becoming a factor. Of course, it's only a half an hour race. It's not crazy long, but it does take a toll.
I think we have to focus now on that top 3. Snorksel has been catching BCP. Gaps at, out of the last corner, less than 0.9. And BCP has sort of taken almost half a second out of Dash.
He has, hasn't he? But it's not enough. It's still not the massive inroads we expected to see. Although I do think BCP had a bit of a tardy lap. We'll just see the lap time now as he comes across the line past this pit lane. And it was,
definitely.
2-minute 1. So he lost a lot of time that lap. He should be making more on the current race leader. But what it has done is allow Snorksel to tag back on his rear bumper. And he's got his pusher back.
Yeah, if they keep working together, then I think they'll probably catch Dash. But the question will be when. And then the second question becomes, which one goes for the pass?
And how hard does Dash defend as Jelly there makes a move on Beats? Brit's still surviving in P4. And Brit's there losing out to B2 as he has so commonly been called.
Well, it says on the back of the car there, are you thinking what I'm thinking, B1?
And I'm sure that Alex is extended warranty, I guess I should call him. He's answering that question somewhere.
No comment.
No comment indeed. That gap's come down again for BCP, so it's 4-2 between second and first. And I can only assume BCP here is just willing Snorks will get to the back of him and thinking of all the gains that they make in a straight line with that other AMG pushing him, because of course 2 hands is better than 1, as I always say.
Yeah, well, he's very quick through the back part of the circuit here. It's where he's making most of the gains. The gap's under 4 seconds now, and he's extending to Snorks behind to 1.1.
He is,
so
isn't
he doesn't have his draft buddy. Would it be worth letting Snorksel catch him for the draft boost? Like, long-term gains?
In my opinion, yes, but it becomes difficult because, of course, Snorksel then has to do the hard work and keep up in the twisty section. Someone who isn't too keen on the twisty section at the moment, Jelly Mechanic has some front right damage, so he's come a cropper at some point, hit the wall, and it has actually cost him 5th position to Beats. So this battle pack rages on a little bit longer, and that gap from 3rd to 4th has now opened up over 2 seconds between Snorksel and Brits. There you go, Snorksel actually lost just over a second that lap. BCP back to a 59.7, so that's the sort of pace that we're expecting from him. But it's still not enough. This Dash lead is pretty convincing so far.
Something's going on now that final turn, perhaps, because Dash is always extending along the straight. 4.1 is the gap heading into turn 1 for him.
It's quite impressive. He's really hitting his mark. You have a look at those times. They're all within a second of each other, honestly. Quickest time of a 2:02, slowest of a 1.2. This has been an unbelievable stint so far for the Bruce Hale Racing driver, and putting on a show at the moment for, I'm sure, Captain Risky will be cheering him on if he's watching and not in a drunken coma. No comment on that one either.
Practice responsible alcoholism.
Yes, absolutely.
Just get on the Heinekens.
Yeah, Heineken Zeros.
The double zeros, yeah. There you go.
Yeah. Became a safe alcohol talk very quickly. Let's change it back to the racing while we're here. Yes, it's another 1.2 seconds lost, actually. Banana Cake Pie, not the best start to his lap. And this is just starting to fall apart a little bit for these Div 1B guys.
He's running out of time. There's no time to make mistakes. You've got to get on with it.
You really do.
Getting closer, but
I don't know how I'd lost that. Simon Bishop has fallen right off the back of Andrew Lee. It's nearly 10 seconds, the gap between Andrew and Simon. 2:06 last time by for Simon. So his race is over.
Yeah, he's had a massive something.
Massive something indeed. And this is going to be cruel returns for Andrew Lee. I think it was hardly going to be able to get onto the back of Dudar. Those little gaps just going to come into really just going to cost him in the end.
Looking at that gap from first to second, it's 3.6. Snorksel is definitely in the slipstream. I don't know if he'll get to him by the end of the straight though. But he's got 3 laps, BCP, to catch and pass Dash. He needs over a second a lap. Probably 1.2, 1.3 per lap to have a chance.
Oh, Snorksel! The late dive! Oh, that's not going to be good for the lap time. Oh no!
BCP's touched the wall, so...
Oh, it's all come undone for these guys. It was looking good for a little bit. The time was looking steep, but suddenly look at the gap now. 4.4.
Yeah, this isn't looking good for these guys.
I think they were our only hope as well.
Come on guys, keep battling.
Oh, and Matthias could have it right here. Dash absolutely could have this in the bag. Savage is convinced. It's 4 seconds now. If these guys don't switch on, you can see the bulk of the lap time that Banana Cake Pie is losing is in that straight. He needs Snorksel on his rear bumper. He can lose up to a second to get him on there, as long as Snorksel is pushing him when it matters.
Well, as we just saw, he didn't push him the right way at the end of that straight.
No, not towards the end of the straight, and I think that might be Snorksel saying, hey, if you're not going to get the lap time done, I might be able to, because they've only got really a couple more laps of working together before it's crunch time. We're coming onto our penultimate lap now. It's back down to 3.2 from Banana Cake Pie to Dash, and that was maybe the first time I've seen Dash not gain out of the final corner.
Interestingly, I just watched their final turns. Dash is using first gear, but BCP uses second.
Very interesting. Now, here's the interesting part. So, realistically, they have 2 laps to go until... Well, not realistically, they do. They've got 2 laps to go.
1.6 seconds a lap you need to take out of him.
Well, not necessarily. Banana just needs to be within half a second exiting the final corner. That's the key. That's the money point. Because if he can get the slipstream, if he's got Snorksel coming up behind him, and what's Snorksel going to do here? That was a push, wasn't it?
Hand. Yep.
And that's what Banana needs. 3.1 is the gap. Banana just pulls it up. I wince every time they go in there when they've got that bump draft.
I don't know how much we saw when he gave him the bump. Maybe he was just trying to avoid touching him under brakes.
Could well have been. And for the first time in a long time, perhaps ever, the gap comes below 3 seconds now. From Banana Cake Pie to Dash. So we're about to see what the number's like, because at that final corner we're going to be able to look at it and we're going to be able to see exactly what Banana needs to find on this final lap. I'm sure he's listening at some stage. He's probably got me on his phone next to where he is competing in this race. It's going to be a tall order for the tall man, but something I'm sure he'll rise to, pun intended.
Oh, coming out of those corners he can see the leader. 2.3 seconds is the gap.
That's incentive right there. That's massive incentive for the Div 1B champion. He wants this win. He just wants to add the cherry on top of his season. Not sure he even expected to do this full season. He's walked out of it with the championship. 2 seconds now. Dash to Banana Cake Pie. He can see him. He's right there. He's almost dive bomb distance, and it is going to be a second and a half roughly he needs to find on Dash in this final lap of the race. Dash has slipped it back to a 2-minute 1 flat. That was his last lap time. 3/10 he's lost this lap, so he's on for about a 2-minute 5 give or take, which means Banana needs to be doing 59 flats, and that is well within his arsenal if you ask me.
Dash had a better exit than BCP that lap, so he's slightly extending.
He did. Let's see the lap time. It's a 59.2. It is so close to what he needs to do. He doesn't have the help of Snorksel, though. He's not on his rear bumper. This is going to need to be the lap of his life if he wants to take this off Dash. And Dash just needs to stay calm. He's got to keep it calm, cool, and collected to get this Bruce Hale racing car across the line.
Dash might have missed a shift at some point because instead of extending, it started falling again.
1.9. It's going to be so close. Andrew's starting to make some moves. It's just too little too late. P5 at the moment for the outgoing Div 1 champion. And it's 1.8 here. BCP to Dash. The pressure is going to start to get to both of these guys. At this point, who cares about podiums? Who cares about finishing 4th, 5th, 6th? It's all about this win and this lead and what Dash can do to hold on to it. It's 1.9. He's just stretched the legs a tiny little bit, and every little margin is going to count now in this final lap.
Well, I mean, he's been consistent all race. Does he hold the nerves at bay? One little mistake is all it would take for BCP to be all over him.
It's 1.5. He lost a little bit in that middle sector. He definitely lost a little bit. He'd need to eternally screw it up here coming over this bridge, and BCP is pushing oh so hard. 1.5 down to 1.4, 1.3. Banana is throwing the kitchen sink at this man, and I don't think he's going to crack Hatfield. I think he's going to hang on.
Yeah, well, it all comes down to this final turn. Dash goes in, nice apex. Easy on the throttle at exit. BCP within a second now.
Oh, he's nailed it. Dash has absolutely nailed the exit, and nothing is going to rob him now of this win. Nothing is going to take away this extra championship, the cherry on top that Dash wanted. He came in as the pole sitter, the only Bruce Howell Racing livery in the field, and he walks out with the BJH Race of Champions title and the fastest lap of his race on the final lap. Dash Vanguard, your winner.
Congratulations to Dash. Very well raced. Consistent from start to finish. Well deserved.
Very, very well done. BCP with a valiant effort to come second, and I think it was really down to the help of Snorksel that they got so far in that one. Andrew Lee came back to 4th, so that's a pretty bloody good drive to end up there. Just got Brits at the lines. It was 0.05 between 4th and 5th. Brits had a 4.6 margin to Doodah, and Jelly slipped back a little bit further than we expected him to be. Beats P8, Simon Bishop, who didn't quite have the run that he wanted in P9, and our outgoing and reigning, well, no longer reigning, ROC champion Tolly rounds out the field in 10th. Dash Vanguard, there it is, pole position, clean race, and the victor of the 2025 Race on Oz, BJH Race of Champions. Say that 10 times fast. Dash, I think he's in the party with us now.
You there, Dash?
Got you loud and clear, mate. Oh, what a win. Congratulations. Wasn't it? How are the nerves? You may well be our first ever VR Race of Champions winner. I hadn't actually thought about that until now, but that could actually be a fact. I'm gonna have to check that. But yeah, to hold off there in VR, that's something I hadn't thought about before. Oh, actually, just noticed, Dash, you do have the voice off in there'll be some setting that you haven't ticked somewhere. If you're willing to go in and check it, just so the stream can hear you.
Yeah, we can't hear you on stream.
So it'll be in party voice chat settings and allowing voice to be streamed, I assume.
It's not a true Race of Champions if we can't hear the champion in the chat afterwards.
I'm pretty sure we've had this before. Okay, we'll see what the chat says. The chat is the almighty. Oh, awesome. Okay. You'll have a couple different points of view to watch it from then. Nothing yet. Can anybody hear Dash yet? Have we got anybody in the chat who can hear him? Yes! Yes! Snorksel's just confirmed that we can hear you. Awesome. Okay.
Well, you held your nerve, mate.
Hang on, Snorksel's just sent us an absolute. He's he reckons he's confused you for somebody else, and now nobody can hear anything. So Snorksel's hearing voices in his head. That's okay. We'll just have to relay a bit of what you're saying. You're very happy, obviously.
Dash said he is very excited and he is shaking with nervousness. He's so excited he doesn't know where to go.
I think it's only that party chat setting, I think. Voice chat settings. Share your voice, allow. That'd be the one. Yep. DRZ at Hatfield's party.
I invited you to that.
The 3 dot. Yep.
That's alright.
Then we've got the 3 dot setting thing and go to voice chat settings.
What?
Yep. And then share your voice should be on allow. Oh, we may have figured it out. We may have done it. Maybe.
Alright. Well, that's, I'll just give up if that one doesn't work, I guess.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We can hear you in the chat.
We can hear you. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, okay.
Hallelujah.
We absolutely have it sorted.
We've got the winner joining us.
Yeah, finally. No, seriously.
Everyone.
No, well done, mate. And Tokyo, how did you feel that the Race of Champions was going to be at Tokyo? Obviously, there was some pretty cracker
Oh,
tracks this season. Tokyo
to
probably
be
wasn't the one
honest,
people would have guessed.
I was not voting for Tokyo or Bathurst. And then when it came down to it, right at the end, I was like, not a chance of my racing Bathurst because I will start first and finish last if we race there. So I voted Tokyo, and it worked out. So yeah, whew, very good. It's never been my best track, that's for sure. But
Well, it has
had a
now.
little, yeah, yeah. I think it just sort of clicked with me in the last couple of days. So yeah, I just had to get used to not breaking through all the fast corners.
Well, whatever you did, it worked wonders. Your consistency was very good. We were looking at your lap times.
Oh
You
yeah, I
kept them
can't
very
see those
similar.
ones.
Well, I know because you're in VR. All you could see was the road, and that's obviously worked for you.
Yeah.
Lap times are very, very good. You had that 5 second gap from the start, which you held most of the race to whoever was behind you until those 1B guys started to catch up.
Oh yeah. Like I said, one more lap and it would have been done. I think I could see how fast they were catching me.
Once they jumped into second place, I guess before then, had you been keeping things pretty calm?
Um, yeah, like that was the whole thing. Just try and be calm. I couldn't really see too many lights behind. It wasn't till I could see the lights getting bigger and bigger every race every lap that I started to freak out.
We'll have to get heart rate monitors on the guys at some
Uh,
point.
Indeed. Yeah, but that was nuts. That was really good.
Huge
Was not expecting
congratulations
that.
from us here.
Thank you so much.
We're stoked. I think it's always nice to see the community guys. I think we say this so regularly because it's been a long time since we've had a Div 1 winner, but it's always nice to see the like the Div 3, Div 4 guys win this event because it's pretty much the biggest one we have. Like, yes, it's only a community event. Yes, the numbers aren't amazing, but it's just the one that we hype up so much for such obvious reasons. So to see it go back to the community, which is really what it's based off, is just fitting. And I'm not going to say I rig it that way. Wink, wink. Um, but
You're just too good. You beat Distinct Andrew by 8 seconds.
you did. You absolutely flogged him. But yeah, it's just very nice to see it go that way every time. And touching on your stint as well, it was ridiculous. I think, were within a second every single lap of your times. So the quickest lap of a 2 minute point one. I think your slowest lap was a 2 minute point two. Oh, sorry, a 2 minute
Oh wow.
1.2. Um,
Oh, that's
but
not too
every
bad,
lap,
eh?
yeah, every lap was like a 2 minute flat. It was unbelievable. The consistency was, I think, better than anybody else in the field. So it was well
Oh
deserved.
wow.
Very well driven.
Well, it's what usually gets me through the season. I'm usually not the quickest, but I try to be consistent. So
It
Well, make
just,
sure
that's
you save
yeah,
the replay
works
and
out.
then get the stream link and make your family watch it repeatedly.
it'll be the new
Mate, I've
Friday
never been
night
able to
ritual.
get my wife to watch one ever, but I'm sure I'll con someone into it. Anyway, I think this will probably be my most cherished race for a long time.
Oh, good. No, that's genuinely what we want to hear. Awesome, mate. We're super stoked for you up here, genuinely. And of course, that is a ticket for you to come back for the next one. Not sure when that'll be.
Wonderful.
Maybe very late this year, maybe early next year. So it could be a bit of time that you get to wear this crown.
Great. Sounds good. Really good. Thank you so
Awesome.
much, guys.
No worries, mate. Enjoy the rest of your night, whatever
Yeah,
you do, and I hope to see you on
yeah,
track
you too.
for the next Sunday League season.
Yeah, be there for sure. Thank you
Awesome.
so much, everyone. Really appreciate all the racing from everyone.
Congratulations, Race of Champions champion.
I like that. Thank you.
Really rolls off the tongue. All right, I think that's pretty much all from us. Do you think, Hatfield? So there's been a
Yeah.
race one or run, and
Thanks
yeah,
for another good one. Yeah,
it's good, wasn't it?
good action there.
Don't think the handicaps were quite what I wanted them to be. It was pretty bloody close at the end still, but
You can't get it perfect every time.
it's so hard when we have back-to-back events that are inside a tenth at the finish. A second feels big. It feels like a really, really big gap.
Oh, it could be interesting to go back and look at what you predicted the lap times to be versus what they were. Sometimes especially the lower division drivers have a bigger improvement from when the race occurred to post season. So if those lap times are off, and then you expand multiply the 15 laps, then that can be what the difference was. Like, what was it, 8.4 from Andrew to the lead at the finish. So over 15 laps, it's like only half a second type thing. So
it's a good point. Very good point.
Oh, come on. Don't spoil it for me, guys. Let me have it.
I reckon, though, that even if Andrew had started alongside Dash on front row, Dash still would have beat him by 8 seconds. Absolutely.
Well, even just thinking about it, all I would have done in the end was I would have moved Andrew 5 seconds closer, and that isn't the 8.4. So,
No.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it went, honestly. A couple of them were blown out a little bit. Obviously, Simon dropping off the back of Andrew hurt him a little bit, but yeah, I'm pretty happy. And I think we'll cut it there. Otherwise, we could talk for hours about handicaps and whatnot. So
I plan to. I'm going to go to make my kids listen to me talk about racing, and that'll put them to sleep.
Of course you would.
Happy school holidays to all those kids out there watching.
All the kids. All right. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Bite, Snorksel, BCP, Duck, Steve, Matt, Simon. Oh God, there's a lot of people that watched actually. Yeah, thank you to everybody. Awesome to see. This is always a pretty well supported event. It's very nice. Hatfield, thank you for jumping in so that I wasn't just talking to myself for best part of an hour. That was much appreciated.
No, that's all right. I know you're actually very good at that, but I figured the viewers might like to have a different voice so they don't get bored with the exciting tones of One Viper Z.
Probably, but I mean that's why we have the race cars in front of us, isn't it? All right. Thank you, everybody. If you haven't signed up to Season 13 already, please do so. Or if you want to have a break season, just let me know. And we'll see everybody on track very shortly. Of course, Monday night stuff running regularly under the guise of Hatfield. And it's a lot of fun from what I've heard.
Yeah, we got road cars on Monday nights. So nothing serious, just bit of casual racing, a few short races. So come and jump in or send me a message if you're not sure where to go. We've got room.
Always. Awesome. All right. Thank you, everybody, and enjoy the rest of your nights.
Thank you.